Hi, I'm Elizabeth Smith with Oliver Smith Jeweler. I'm back today with our fine timepiece director, Mr. George Reed, and we're continuing the conversation we started last week about this 2020 watch correction or price crash. Today we're going to talk about a couple watches that we feel are still good safe harbors as investment pieces today.
So Elizabeth and I will be up in Aspen for the Food and Wine Festival. That is June 16th through the 19th. And we were kind of talking about a topic to cover while we're up there. And we came upon sports watches to invest in. And then the market kind of turned sideways. But either way, we're going to be up there for Food and Wine. We'd love to see you live. We're planning on having this open discussion for the whole 3 days. So if you're in the valley there, stop in. We'd love to see you. So on the plate in front of us, we have 3 watches that we feel are still worthy of your investment if you have the money for them. And don't get me wrong, these are expensive pieces.
They are.
But if you have the money, this is still a pretty safe harbor as investable stainless steel watches.
Right. So there's 3 things we like to think about when we're talking about is a piece investable. And this kind of helps hold price over time, make sure that there's always a demand. There's going to be the quality of the piece, the significance, and the scarcity. So we'll kind of go through each of these and hit those 3 points as to what makes them investable and holding value long term as far as we project it. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the 15500. I'm a huge fan of the Royal Oak, having owned a 15300 for the better part of a decade. It's one of my favorite watches. AP is doing a really good or bad job, depending on your perspective, of controlling their market. You cannot walk in and buy this watch.
Right.
They're being super straight up about the process. You have to buy a code 1159. You have to wait X amount of years. They have to know you. And I think, like a lot of these brands, they do want to know you. I think there is some legitimacy there. They don't want the watch to be flipped. They want to find its forever home. Mm-hmm. So as a collector, I do kind of like that as well, although people flip to me and that's how we make a living. So I'm always torn with that.
Sure.
But this is one of those watches where it went stratospheric, particularly the blue model, the 15202 getting discontinued. There's been a lot of action in this particular genre. But I think specifically the white dial, the silver dial, might be a little underappreciated.
Yeah, a little bit of like a sleeper compared to its blue brother that tends to get all the hype.
And it is ridiculously easy to use. The color goes with everything. It goes a little sportier than some of the other ones, but that's just kind of my pick amongst the 3 of I think that's still a really good investable piece.
Well, and you get with the Royal Oak too, this is one of the Gerald Genta designs, right? Correct. So when you talk about provenance, that plays into it. You can't talk about sports watches without talking about Gerald Genta's designs.
Yeah, this watch was Genesis for everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And then we also have that AP has discontinued some of the predecessors to this piece. So will they discontinue this in the future? Probably.
Yeah. They'll probably come up with a size change or something along those lines.
Yeah, they don't want to be known for just the Royal Oak, similar to some of these brands. So kind of a safe harbor there. And then AP makes a really limited run of watches.
Correct, yeah.
Really small numbers. So that's going to give you that sort of quality, fantastic quality going into this, but also the scarcity value of it, and to all the points George mentioned too.
Absolutely.
Next up, the Rolex Daytona, which I'm going to say I'm a little bored of talking about. It's just like the ultimate hype piece. Everyone's into the ceramic. We talk about it a lot, but also for reason.
Yeah. I mean, it is ultimately that watch that you can never walk into a Rolex boutique and find. You can never buy it. The amount of relationship fee and years to get the watch new. There is no primary market for this watch. There's only a secondary market for this watch. And every time I see one, it's not even how did you afford it? It's tell me the story. How'd you get it? Who do you know? It's just that kind of thing. So.
And the Daytona sort of kicked off this whole investable watch idea when the first first one went to the Paul Newman, went to auction and got 17 million.
17 million, yeah,
right?
for
so it kicked
Paul's
off this
watch,
whole
yeah.
craze. It's like the first go-to for a lot of people, and rightfully so. Rolex is a massive brand, the probably best known luxury watch brand for sure.
Oh, they're a masterful marketing company with a pretty darn good product. I mean, the bottom line is, are the Rolexes worth it? Sure. They're a great watch. Now, it might not have the hierology of some of its brethren here, but it is worth the money as a really good timepiece. I've loved my Rolexes. They've been fantastic watches. They are kind of universally known, though. It is definitely more of a common piece, if that makes sense, considering you can't get it anywhere. But it's just
exactly.
It's
so as far as the scarcity, I mean, Rolex is making over 1 million watches a year. We know that. There's a stat I love, that there's now 53 million millionaires in the world.
Yeah, I'm not one of them.
The go-to for all these people, the first brand you're going to pick for watches is Rolex.
Yeah, every single one of them has a Rolex.
Right, and I'm going to say many of them, if they're watch collecting, want a Daytona. So as far as like scarcity, that's huge. Quality, Rolex can make all these watches. Like you said, they're still great.
At a really, really high level. It's remarkable what they've been able to do over the years.
And provenance, kind of like the original wanted steel sports watch. So it really packs it all in there.
And last but certainly not least, we have the Patek Philippe Nautilus reference 5711. This particular model's in white, which again, kind of dovetailing back to the AP. I think it's underlooked, super sporty. It's less expensive than the blue.
Yeah.
Maybe a little overlooked, but especially with the 5711 getting discontinued, I see. If you have low six figures, high 90s, and you're looking for a safe harbor to put it, I see no better place than the 5711.
Remember when it got discontinued, how everyone freaked out?
Yeah. And these did hit a crescendo recently. When it comes to watches like this, and this is going to sound a little harsh, 2 or 3 times retail makes sense to me based on the quality and the scarcity and how hard it is to get these watches, and there not being a primary market for it. When you got to the 4, 5, and 6 times retail, no, it's too much. So I'm one of the few who might be applauding this correction a little bit. I think it's not even a correction. It's just normalizing the prices for these watches based on the rarity of what you
getting back to where you see them to be, and also a Gerald Gento design, correct? So we've got that sports watch provenance behind it. Patek's not making a lot of watches, as we know, and it's discontinued. I mean, it hits all 3 pretty hard.
And don't get me wrong, I would take any of the 3. So if anybody's feeling, particularly generous out there, please, call me.
We're gonna get George in that 53 million millionaires club. Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, leave them below, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.